Hello, Gemini. I'm Claire-Louise Hay, and this is your January 2020 reading. If you'd like a private reading with me, Gemini, then there's a link up there to book in for one of those. I get those out within 24 hours, and they're 3 pages long. Now, you can see at time of booking, you can choose what you want the reading to be about, what area of your life you want it to be about. You can also add some upgrades onto it as well, so you get a little bit of a price reduction when you do that at time of booking. Gemini, January 2020, Happy New Year. What have you got going on in January, Gemini? First up, we've got follow my knowing and fear of lack. Right. So in January, you're being asked to get really attuned with your intuition and start following it. This is saying like you've experienced lack before when you've not done that, right? Because your higher self is always leading you to what it is that you want. And it's doing that through your intuition, through inspiration, through ideas, through a gut feeling. And if you don't follow that, like if you've got a gut feeling and then you go against it, you let your mind take over and override it, you do something else. That's when you get into lackful situations. So your higher self is always leading you toward abundance, to what you've asked for. And if you're following your intuition and you're taking action on that, on your intuition, then it is leading you to the abundance that you want. So January, you've really got to sort this out. You've got to stop that pattern that you've got, Gemini, of thinking, of overriding your intuition by thinking about it too much. So maybe you get an idea, it pops into your mind, and then you overthink it away. You think, that can't possibly lead me to what it is that I want, because you can't see the bigger picture like your higher self does. And your higher self is like, oh, it's going to lead you to so much more. But your mind is saying, no, I'm going to do this instead because that's going to lead me to what I want. And then you end up missing out and you end up manifesting lack because of it. Maybe just manifesting a little thing instead of this huge thing that your higher self had got for you. And so it's time to break that pattern in January. It's time to start trusting your intuition and start actually acting on your intuition. Your higher self knows better than you. It's time to get a bit more woo-woo instead of in your head, Gemini. And believe your higher self, because life will become so magical and you'll get out of this lack. You'll get out of lack because your higher self wants to lead you to abundance. What else? What else have you got going on generally in January 2020, Gemini? Yeah, expansion, initiate. Now this is big expansion. This isn't just growth. This is like a big change, something big that you're creating in 2020, something big that you can create in 2020. And it's up to you, Gemini. You are the creative spirit in this. It's not the universe like giving you random things, sending things your way and life happening to you. You're the creator of it with your mind and your energy. This is asking you to initiate that. So you decide what it is that you want to happen in 2020, Gemini. Get focused on that. Write down, this is like New Year's resolutions. Write down what it is that you want, but think about this great expansion. So project yourself at the end of 2020. Think about yourself being at, on New Year's Day, say 2021, and looking back, what would have been an amazing year for you? What would be like beyond what you've experienced before? What is that huge expansion that you really want in your life? Whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whether it's a job, it could be family, it could be anything. You know what it is for you. We're all different. We all want different things out of life. But what are the big changes that you really want? Time to initiate that. And that could be like writing it down as a goal for 2020. That's a good way of doing it. But also, it's that inner work, it's like deciding that you're going to do it, deciding that that's what you're going to manifest this year, getting on board with it yourself, saying, okay, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this expansion, or get on that path to the expansion. If it's really, really big, you might think that's too big to happen in 1 year. You might want to give yourself more years for it, but it could. Like, I'm really hearing that big things are possible in 2020. You might be surprised that if you're setting a goal up for like a 5-year plan in January for great expansion, and you think it's going to take 5 years, I'm hearing for a lot of you, you're going to actually be able to do that. You might think it takes 5 years, but you're actually going to be able to achieve that in 2020. It's going to be a big year. I've been doing 2020 year ahead readings, a lot of them in the last few days, and it's been amazing, right? They're like 9, 10, 11, sometimes 12 pages long. So going into detail month by month of your year ahead. You can still get one of those if you want to book in for one of those. There's a link up there. But there's been like its general theme for people, and it's big changes, like big changes, like complete lifestyle changes, location changes, relationship changes, career especially. It's been this big message to everyone. It's like no more messing around, no more wasting your life. No more wasting your time. It's time to get on with your life purpose. Get on with what you're here to do. So maybe you've had an idea of something that you think is in the future, when we have that inner knowing, like I'm here to do something big, but we think that it's in the future, maybe years ahead. Or we've got this idea that we're going to be famous, or we've got this idea that we're going to be really successful. That kind of thing. It's like you know what it is. And 2020 is the year to get going with it. It's a huge year for expansion. And so with you, Gemini, I'm feeling you've got to set that off now. You've got to actually set that expansion off. So if you've had an idea like that you're going to be famous, or you're going to be really successful, or you're going to be really wealthy, or you're going to, I don't know, have a massive family or something like that, it's like, this is the year to get going on it for sure. And I'm feeling that a lot of you Geminis, you're going to achieve way more in 2020 than you even imagine. And so get focused on that. Get writing your goals down, Gemini. Okay, what have you got going on in your love life in January 2020, Gemini? We've got compassion and warmth. Oh, beautiful. So opening heart, you've got your heart opening, which is going to attract very different relationships, not just romantic relationships, very different friendships, very different customers, very different colleagues, very different bosses. You're going to be vibrating on a whole new level because of this, your compassion opening your heart up. So it's going to be like a heart-led year for you, which of course is going to change your relationships. So if you're in a relationship at the moment, Gemini, or if you're single, you are going to be attracting different caliber of person is what I'm hearing, but it's a different heart caliber. So if you've been attracting in the past maybe very mindy people, people that are in their heads, you're going to be attracting like heart people that are in their hearts, because you're making those changes yourself, Gemini. And if you haven't been doing that, if you think, oh, that's not me, I haven't been like opening my heart up, I haven't been doing that, that's the key for you, Gemini, is to work more on your heart. Start listening to your heart. What does your heart want? It could be, Gemini, that maybe you had a difficult childhood and you decided to become like more mind. You might have made decisions like, oh, I didn't get the love that I wanted from my family, and so I'm going to be really successful in business and be really independent so that I don't need anyone else. And you might have made a decision like that, Gemini. So something similar to that. And so you kind of shut your heart down a little bit or a lot, depending on who you are. And this is the year to open it back up again. And so to work on that, to work on your compassion, opening your heart up, being more heart-centered, listening to what your heart wants. Of course, because if you made a decision like that, your heart will be saying, open your heart up, I need loving, I need taken care of by others. And that doesn't mean like not being independent. It doesn't mean like not being in charge of your life. You still got to do that. But we can allow people to love and support us. Like that makes life really rich, really rich. So Gemini, if you find that your life is very rich in other areas, the way to get your relationships, your romantic relationships rich, is to do this stuff. It's to open your heart up, start listening to your heart and what it needs, what it wants. And trust it. Trust your heart and its choices. You might end up with a partner that is so different than your previous partners. More heart-centered. Also in your love life, you've got get what I want brilliance. So you are going to get what you want. And I'm feeling it's going to be a mixture. So for you single Geminis, maybe you've been like, I don't know, maybe you're an entrepreneur like me and you're like, okay, I would really like a partner who's an entrepreneur, who's doing great things in the world too. And being focused on that like very logical part of it, and you've been ignoring the heart side of it, And this is like, you're going to get it all. You're going to get that and the open-hearted, compassionate side. You're going to get what you want, what you've been asking for, and a lot more besides in a partner. So I'm really feeling like Gemini, a lot of you, you're going to meet your soulmate this year in 2020, maybe in January. Maybe in January, if you've been doing that inner work and you're aligned with it and you're expecting to meet someone like that. Yeah, but remember, you've got to be that first. You've got to be the open-hearted, that integrated person, that whole person first, you know, that isn't just focused on the logical stuff, that is also focused on that heart-based stuff too. If you're doing that, you're going to attract someone like that. So you are going to get what you want in your love life, Gemini. Better than you expected, better than you expected, more than you expected, more than you thought possible, Gemini. That's great news. And what about your work? January 2020, what about your work, Gemini? You've got be firmer and abundance. Right. So this isn't about money specifically. Abundance is when everything you want, everything that you need shows up whenever you need it. It's like that magical state of just everything flowing to you. It could be like an abundance of customers. It could be an abundance of opportunities. It could be an abundance of the right people. You know, when that magic happens, you think about something, you think that you might want something, and then suddenly you meet someone that's got the key to that. That is abundance, when things flow and flow and flow. And of course, money is part of that too. And so getting yourself firmly in that state of expecting everything to work out for you, not just work out for you, but magical connections to be made, abundance to be flowing in all kinds of ways to you like that. Being firm in that vibration of expectation, of thinking about that, and noticing it when it happens and seeing it as that, seeing it as abundance, then that's going to create like a new paradigm for your work. Your work's going to get magical. You're going to start attracting those things in your work, the right people, the right opportunities, all of that. You're going to start attracting that. So if you've been doing your work in a logical way, hoping for these opportunities and the money and the right people to come in, but trying to make that happen through your work, like through you doing it, this is the wake-up call saying that's not how it happens. It's through a shift in your vibration first. You've got to imagine it first. You've got to imagine this abundance, this flow of all magical things coming to you. Imagine it first. Be really firm in that, and then it's going to manifest from there. And I'm not saying that you don't need to take that action. You absolutely do. But if you're adding this into the mix, Gemini, and then taking your action on top of that, that is going to make all the difference. And you're going to have a magical year in your work. So there's changes coming in your work when you change your initial focus, like your underlying energy of expecting abundance to come to you, Gemini. Wow. I think big things happening for Gemini in 2020. Also, in your work, Gemini, January 2020, we've got up until now in self-love. This is about your work. Maybe ways in which your work is harming you, or the ways in which you're doing it. Maybe you're overworking yourself sometimes. Maybe you're not sleeping enough. Maybe your work is causing like sleepless nights. Maybe you are too stressed in your work and there's changes to be made there. Something that you've been doing in your work has not been self-loving, and you need to switch that around now. Now remember, the universe won't let you expand something. It won't let you grow if you are harming yourself. So, for example, somebody who is an addict tends to have very little money, and of course you might think logistically, okay, because they're spending all the money on their addiction, but it's not that. Like the universe, anyone can manifest money in many ways, but they don't manifest money because the universe won't give it to them, because it doesn't want them to harm themselves. It's not ever going to encourage you to harm yourself. And so the reason I say that is, if your work, you want it to grow, but you're not sleeping properly, you're stressed out because of your work, you're putting too much on your plate, you're not taking, maybe you're at a computer all the time, not taking breaks, and you're getting headaches and your eye tension or neck tension. There's some way that you're not loving yourself in your work, and it's actually holding you back from the growth. The universe is like, I know you're asking for more, but I can't give you more, because if I double it, then you're going to have double the neck tension, double the sleep problems, double all of this. So you need to sort these things out so that you get into this very self-loving flow, so that you're not harming yourself with your work. Get it as easy as possible, as flowing as possible, as nurturing and restorative as possible, so that it's good for you too, not just good for whoever you're doing things for or making things for, providing that service for. So it's good for you too. So it's like a win-win. And once you get to that point, then you're going to get that growth that you want. But you're being held back at the moment with your work because of this, because you need to sort things out. You need to start looking after yourself better, loving yourself better in your work, Gemini. So yeah, really important message for you, Geminis, in that. And it's going to make all the difference once you do that, once you make that change. Gemini, what about your money? Your money in January 2020. Be supportive up until now. Gemini, have you been taking care of people financially? I'm feeling like that's changing in January. So maybe you've been taking it on. Maybe you're the one that always pays the bills. Maybe you're the one that always pays for the meal or the coffees or something like that. You're always supporting people financially. Maybe it's like physical. Maybe you've got someone in your house that you're supporting financially. Maybe you've got kids and one of them's about to move out and go it alone, or they're going to uni or something like that. There's some kind of a change in your finances. Up until now, you've been supporting someone, and that either is going to stop in January, or you need to stop it in January, because your money is for you. Like, if you think about it from a universal point of view, the universe wants to give you the resources, the abundance for your life, or what it is that you want to create in your life. It's not giving you that for other people. It gives them directly. It gives it them directly. Now, that's not to say that you're never the avenue for that. Sometimes you are, absolutely, for sure. But when you're doing it all the time for one person, that's not good. Yeah, that's cutting them off from their abundance that they can get direct from the universe or from other sources. So yeah, this is changing. So if you find that you've been doing that, taking care of someone, it's time to stop that now. Let them, let them find abundance themselves. Let them have their own life path. Trust them to do that. Let them go. Let them go. You'll know what that is for you, or who that is for you. And then your money, you're going to have more power in your money. You're going to be able to spend it on what you want to spend it on. Put it into those projects that you want to move forward. Maybe I'm hearing for some of you like a health change, so you can start spending your money on getting healthy. Yeah. So maybe you've been buying the coffees for everyone, and you can't afford a gym membership, and if you just stop doing that, you can afford a gym membership. Something like that. Something like that, Gemini. Also, with your money in January 2020, Gemini, you've got friend and wait. If you've got a friend that owes you some money, or you owe your friend some money, something like that. Yeah, it's not going to change, but you are going to wait for it. It's like if you're expecting a friend to pay you back in January, it's like that's not going to happen. But maybe you can set it up and come to an agreement that they start paying it back in February or something like that. I'm feeling like not to pressure someone, or if you owe the money to a friend, don't pressure yourself to pay it back. Maybe tell them January's a little bit tight or something like that, and I can start paying you in February. There's this wait card. It's like, it's okay. The universe knows it's all going to be okay. You don't need to pressure each other, whichever way around it is. You can wait. And so if maybe you've been on a friend about their financial situation because it's impacting you, and this is like saying, have a bit of patience with them, because their higher self is leading them forward toward abundance too. Trust them in that. And yeah, this is just a temporary thing for them. That's what I'm getting with this wait card. This is a temporary thing with either you or with them, depending on which way around it is. Wow. Okay, Gemini, there you go. If you like this reading, please click like, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Leave a comment about what you got out of that too. I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing January 2020 and Happy New Year, Gemini. I'll see you next time. Bye.